And welcome back to the Sports Betting Edge podcast. I am your host, Anthony Servino. Follow me on Twitter at The Real NFL Guru. Follow the show at OddsJam. We can be found at all of the top social media and podcast platforms. And with me, as always, discussing NFL Week 9 action, Randall Knack at Randall K Bets on social media. Randall, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just traveling today, heading to Indianapolis, going to catch the Pacers-Knicks game tonight, and get ready for some NFL this week. Looking forward to it. Nice week last week betting wise, and hoping to build on that this week.
Yeah, you had a really good week last week. Especially that we were talking about that Saints Buccaneers game. You really hit that one on the head.
Yeah, that was. I always tell people, as to be a fan of, a sports team, you can really have an edge, and if you follow them closely, and if you're not afraid to fade them. I think that's the biggest issue with sports bettors is, they're a fan of the Green Bay Packers, and they'll never go against them. But obviously I didn't go against the Saints last week, but I have no issue no issue going against them. My allegiance lies in making money. So if that's fading the Saints, then that's what we do. So
now, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about these upcoming Week 9 matchups. We're going to use the line shopping tool over at oddsjam.com. Of course, this show is brought to you by oddsjam.com. And I'm going to put the screen that I am looking at on your screen so you guys can follow along if you are watching in video format. And this is like if you go to, the top toolbar, you can find the odds section. You go down to football, and then you scroll down, and you'll have to go through all the college games. You're gonna see the Thursday night football game, which I will be doing picks for on a separate show, either tomorrow morning or later on tonight. But get down to 11, 14, 21, and that's Sunday's slate. And actually, no, that's 2 weeks away. I'm on the wrong one. You want to go down to 11-7. That's this Sunday. And let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. That's the first game. I feel like it's pretty interesting because these are two teams that I think people had them flip-flop. Cleveland was supposed to be the top team in this division, or one of the top teams in this division. The Bengals were a team still trying to figure it out, especially after all the offseason. Burrow coming off the injury. Jamar Chase didn't look great at camp and coming out of college, but it seems like, Burrow is really emerging as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You could make the case that Jamar Chase might be a top 5 or top 3 receiver already. And Cleveland, they really can't get out of their own way at times.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game. And, we talked about the Bengals playing the Jets last week. And, I mentioned that I felt like that was a game that they could lose coming off of, the win against, the Ravens on the road, 41-17. Overlooking the Jets with the Browns, coming up, and they did. I think they overlooked the Jets. The Jets were able to steal that game, and I think this is a spot where Cincinnati bounces back. I think that the people that were high on Cincy maybe have abandoned ship, so to speak, after that loss to the Jets. But I think this Browns team, a lot of injuries. They ended up not trading Odell Beckham, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I think there's some definite value here in the Bengals in this spot.
Yeah, and right now, it looks like the Bengals are actually and using the odds line shopping tool, or the odds jam line shopping tool. The Bengals over at Circus Sportsbook -130 favorites. Cleveland +130 over at the Score. They're the two best bets on the money line.
Yeah, I would definitely look to take the Bengals on the money line. Or even -2.5, I think is a solid number in this spot.
Now, in terms of total points, this could go either way because we know both teams can put up a lot of points. Then both teams can also struggle at times. My worry here is not so much Cincinnati. It's more so what Cleveland team's going to show up and which version of Baker Mayfield is going to show up because you can exploit Cincinnati's defense.
Yeah, I would agree. The Browns offense did not look great last week against against the Steelers, which they do have a solid defense. But yeah, I would be more concerned with Cleveland being able to put points up, in this particular spot.
Yeah, and when the over under on this game, the main lines are at 46 and a half and 47. Would you trend towards the over or the under in this game? I believe this is in Cincinnati.
Yeah, this game is in
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
in Cincy, I think I like the over. I know Cleveland, they play really tough at home, but on the road, you can get to them a little bit more. I would lean towards the over here because Cincy's defense, like I said, that is the weak point of their team. They're that team that really needs to outscore you to win.
Yeah, definitely. They they give up 30 plus to the Jets, who haven't been able to do anything all year. So, yeah, I would lean to the over in this spot, as well. I think that this Cincinnati offense, continues to roll like they have been, and this could be a spot where the Browns, after struggling here in a couple of weeks, or struggling these last couple of weeks offensively, um, get back to what they were doing, prior to all of the injuries and all of that.
And in terms of recent trends, the over is actually 5-0 in the last five meetings in Cincinnati. It's also 6-0-1 in the last seven Bengals Browns meetings overall. So that makes me like the over in this game all that more. Let's go to the next game we're going to talk about today. Let's talk about the Saints and the Falcons in New Orleans because we obviously know Jameis Winston unfortunately was lost for the year. Last week, the last time we saw the Saints take the field, Trevor Siemian came in. We don't really know the status of Taysom Hill yet. If it's Trevor Siemian at home going up against Atlanta, and also on the, I can't forget about Calvin Ridley stepping away from football altogether for his, his own mental health. So hopefully he gets that on track. But, two of the biggest stars in this football game are out indefinitely.
Yeah, this game is really a head scratcher for me. I can't believe that the Saints are 6 point favorites in this game. I assume it will be Simeon. I don't know. I don't know how Simeon's a 6 point favorite, against anybody. And, this Falcons team, seems to have maybe turned a corner a little bit. They're playing much better. But this is a game too, where, just from, a handicapping perception perspective, this line really makes no sense. And, I think it's very enticing to take Atlanta in the points here. So, just based on that angle, I mean, I would probably have to lean to the Saints. But, with that said, I really don't think Simeon and even Taysom Hill have any business laying 6 points. Yeah, I think that this line is a little inflated just based on the Tampa win. But like I said, I do think that this is very enticing if you want to take Atlanta. It looks very easy to take them, and maybe this is just a Saints blowout and the Saints get rolling. So we'll see what Peyton can do in a week of preparation with Simeon. I mean, he didn't look too bad. He had a couple throws that were not the best, but Mark Ingram's back. He didn't touch the ball a lot in that game against Tampa, but I think that this team was very energized with the return of Ingram. And I would have to lean to the Saints here, but with a lot of hesitation.
Yeah, and if you do like the Falcons to win outright, plus 220 at Caesars Points Bet and the Score Sportsbook, they're your best bets there. But I don't know. I think this is more of a testament outside of Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill, and I do like obviously Taysom Hill more because the Saints do have a track history going from last year with a couple of games winning, and Taysom Hill does own the Falcons. Played exceptionally well in the 2 games that he's faced off against them in 2020. But the Saints defense, they should bottle up the Falcons. Like the Falcons couldn't get anything going last week against Carolina, and the Saints and the Panthers defense, they're about the same to me. The New Orleans Saints defense right now, they're number 4 in fewest points allowed. They're number 2 in rushing. You can throw on them a little bit, which Matt Ryan's going to have to do. I think we see a lot of Cordell Patterson here, but I just don't know how the Falcons keep this close.
Yeah, and I don't know what the total is in this game, but it might look at the under here. I think this is a game where Peyton tries to, control it a little bit more. With being, the pass defense, being able to pass on the Saints a little bit. Maybe a heavier dose of Ingram and Kamara, and some shorter pass plays with Simeon. Maybe this is a spot here where you look at the under. Just because I think the time of possession will definitely favor New Orleans in this game.
The total is set at 42.5.
Yeah, so I think over the years, it would be easy to take the over, in this spot with these two teams playing. But given the quarterback situation, and as you mentioned, Ryan's struggles last week against Carolina, I think the under could have some value here. But if you bet an under in the NFL, it may be time to get your head examined, because just the way the game is set up, it's very hard to take unders. I love to bet unders in the NFL. I think that there's some value in those numbers. But man, I mean, it's one play can be 50 yards on a penalty with a pass interference call. So it changes the game dramatically. And so it's very hard to take unders, but that's where I would lean in this one.
Well, just like the last game, when we're talking about trends, and the past few were over between the Bengals and the Browns, the past 4 meetings in New Orleans have gone under between the Saints and the Falcons, and the under is also 5-0 in the past 5 meetings overall. So trends are also suggesting exactly what we're thinking about these football games. And again, this is a testament to the Saints defense. And I think without Drew Brees, this is more of a defensive team, more of a dink and dunk team than let's air it out with Drew Brees, who's, obviously retired. And on the Falcons end, Matt Ryan, he's so up and down and erratic without Julio Jones. And now you take away Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I'm really skeptical on how Arthur Smith gets this offense going, if he can even get it going.
Yeah, I agree. This Saints defense is elite, and Ryan has had his struggles. I mean, those have been very obvious over these last couple of years. So I think the Saints are in a good spot here. Like you said earlier, Taysom Hill dominated them last year. It would be nice to see him go. It's also going to be very interesting to see if the Saints bring somebody in. I saw an article the other day suggesting Cam Newton, to be signed by the Saints. I'm not a fan of that, but it'll be interesting to see kind of where they head. It really kind of felt like they were hitting their stride a little bit. Off of that bye week, getting that win in Seattle, albeit against Geno Smith, but on the road nonetheless. And then you beat Tampa Bay, and now you're dealing with some questions at the quarterback position.
Let's go into this Cowboys-Broncos game in Dallas. Obviously, Dallas coming off of an extremely impressive win over Minnesota in prime time with Cooper Rush. Dak was a legit game-time decision. Looked like he was going to play, ultimately ruled out. Now, Dak is supposed to be a full go at practice this week. which suggests he's going to play. But if this is a game where Dallas feels like they should win without Dak, it wouldn't surprise me if they held him out. But the point spread on this game is I believe right now set at 10 points. So Dallas giving 10 to the Denver Broncos. I think it's attainable with Dak Prescott. I'm not sure it's attainable without Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I mean, and this Broncos team, was one that many people were high on, entering the year with their defense. They just traded Von Miller this week to the Rams. So we'll see, the impact there. But, I think that, this is a sell high spot on Dallas. I mean, I've been saying that now for, the last 6 weeks, but I just think that, the public is very high on Dallas. I mean, if you bet Dallas every game this year, you're 7-0 against the spread. So why not ride him again in this spot? And, I think that the people who were high on Denver, have somewhat, gotten away from them, as they've, had some struggles here down the stretch. But I still think that this, Broncos defense is solid. And, I just think 10 points is too many. I'm not sure what the look ahead line is or what the look ahead line was over the summer. I don't have those sheets in front of me, but I can guarantee you that Dallas was not a 10-point favorite, in this game. So, I'm going to be looking at Denver. I faded Dallas a few times this year, and obviously it has not worked out. Faded them against New England, faded them against the Chargers, and then I had Minnesota plus 3.5 last week. I locked that number in on Monday, and Vikings closed minus 4.5, and they end up losing by 4. So I haven't had a lot of success fading Dallas, but I'm probably going back to the well this week, and I'm going to hit the Broncos. I think that 10 is too many, and I just think that this line is very inflated.
Yeah, I Dallas is going to win this game, but I do think that the Denver Broncos, they're going to cover. This is a better football team. They have some firepower on offense, and Teddy Bridgewater, most of the time, at least if the game's close, he's a pretty competent quarterback. They can run the football with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Now, losing Von Miller, Nick Chubb's already on IR. He was lost a long time ago for the year. That could be where the line inflation comes from with no Von Miller. Obviously, without that type of a pass rush, you should be able to pick apart this Denver secondary as good as it is, even if it is Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the loss of Von Miller is definitely, definitely something to mention. I don't know, how many points he is actually worth to, the betting line, but, as a, handicapper who looks, at a lot of things, from perception, versus reality, my philosophy is next man up. And, in the NFL, it's, you're dealing with professional athletes. So, I mean, the next guy up is going to,
Right.
Be a solid player. I mean, it's obviously a step down from Von Miller. I mean, I don't, want to, shy away and say that Von Miller, is not an elite player, but, next man up, and, maybe you get, a great effort out of this Denver defense this week, with, them trading him, like, hey, we don't need him, type of mentality. I don't know that that's the case, but, maybe you get a little extra effort out of this Denver defense this week, to try to stop this Dallas offense that has been very hard to stop with Dak, obviously, in the lineup.
Now, the total in this game is 49.5. I think I'm leaning the under because looking at the injury reports here, Denver's missing Bryce Callahan, one of their better cornerbacks, usually plays in the slot, and Noah Fant offensively. Now, Denver has talent at wide receiver. Fant's obviously a key part of this offense. I think this could be one of those low-scoring games that features running backs on both sides of the ball. I do think we'll see close to the 49.5. I just don't see it going over, because if this Dallas defense steps up, like Dallas can win in a blowout and still go under in this game.
Yeah, and I think that there's some correlation there to taking Denver in the points. I think that if they cover that spread or win the game outright, I think it's definitely a game that has to be lower scoring, maybe high 30s, low 40s for Denver to have a chance to win this game. I don't think they don't want to get themselves in a shootout with this Dallas team.
No, at least not with Teddy Bridgewater right now. Maybe in the future, I think they are set up to go and get themselves a quarterback. Obviously, he's just not there right now. But
yeah, I agree.
Let's jump in. What games are you targeting? Like, what's the top game that you see an edge on?
Yeah, so I really do like Denver a lot in that spot. Like I said, I've I've had terrible luck, fading Dallas this year, but I really like Denver, and a couple other games that I'm looking at. The Giants against the Raiders. The Raiders, obviously after the Gruden fiasco, have gone 2-0, have looked great. You're now coming off of a bye. You've got the west to east travel, and I just think this Giants team, we mentioned it last week. I felt that Kansas City or Cincinnati would be a team to lose, and knock out some survivor entries. And I think this Giants team is undervalued. I think that they compete week in and week out, and the Raiders are in a spot where when they play on grass between home games, and I don't know why this is, but they're 0-19 now. And this happened when they played, or I say grass, I should say turf. This happened when they played at not the Rams, I'm sorry, when they played against the Chargers on that Monday night game. It was in between home games, and that trend was actually 0-18 heading into that game. So now it's 0-19, and I don't know, if this is, a trend that has any relevance, but I think it's definitely worth noting. I think it had maybe a little bit more relevance when, they played in the Coliseum and the dirt and all of that. But I like this Giants team in this spot. And, the other game I'm looking at is Kansas City.
I was just going to bring that up.
They struggled against the Giants. Obviously, Monday night, prime time, Packers are rolling. I have the Packers to win the Super Bowl. I took them prior to the start of the season, and I feel good about that ticket. But, I don't think that, they're going to continue to, continue to win games. They won in Arizona without Devontae Adams. They are still a team that's getting healthier, each week. But I think that, again, back to the perception, everybody has written this Kansas City team off. And, I believe in the Super Bowl hangover. I know Patrick Mahomes, came out this week and said that he doesn't believe it's real. But, you just look at the history, of these teams that lose the Super Bowl the following year. It's there. The Super Bowl hangover is real. But I love Kansas City in this spot. Minus the 1. I think, you just play the money line here on Kansas City. I could see this being a game where, Kansas City maybe even blows Green Bay out, as crazy as that may sound. And, now all of a sudden KC's back, and I don't think that they are back if they do blow them out. But, this could be a game where they really, really get going. Rodgers maybe struggles a little bit. If you look at it on paper, it doesn't seem like, Kansas City really has a chance to win this game just based on, the way Green Bay has been playing. yeah, Kansas City is the other game that I'm looking at. So I mean, my top 3 plays, in no particular order, would be the Broncos, the Giants, and then the Chiefs.
The money line on this Chiefs Green Bay matchup, you can get plus odds on either side. Circa Sportsbook plus 100. They're the only sportsbook offering plus odds on Kansas City money line, and then obviously on the Green Bay Packers end, you can get plus 100 odds at Fox Bet and at DraftKings. So obviously the bookmakers believe this can go either way, and it is going to be close. The only time Rodgers faced off against Mahomes, it was back in 2019, and Green Bay won 31-24. These are very different teams since then. Obviously, the Chiefs on a really bad streak, especially Patrick Mahomes. Green Bay's playing out of their mind, but we also have seen this Packers team, as good as they've played under LaFleur. Remember those games against the 49ers where 49ers, just crushed them 38 to 6?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've definitely seen it with these Packers teams. I haven't looked. What is the status of Adams? I mean, has that been decided? Is he playing this week?
I believe he's been activated or will be activated. I know Lazard is already activated, which means Adams and the defensive coordinator, they both should be as well.
Yeah, so, Adams is back. If you believe in the, theory of the star coming back, that's usually a good time to fade them. I don't know that this necessarily applies in this case. I mean, the Packers are now 7-0 without Adams, so it's they like you said, they're playing out of their mind right now, and I just think that this is a spot. I don't know who Kansas City has next week, but if Kansas City can find a way to win this game, and I mean, if they can do it in convincing fashion, I would be looking to fade Kansas City very hard the next week. I think the perception would be that this Kansas City team is back and, going to go on a run. And I don't know that that's the case. But I do think they win this game this week against the Packers.
Actually, Kansas City, I believe, is the only team in the NFL that does not play a sub-500 team the rest of the way, and they get the Raiders next week. So, but on your theory of, they come out strong and then drop a game next week, the Raiders are that game to where you would think, okay, Kansas City's going to blow them out after the Ruggs fiasco, the unfortunate incident with Henry Ruggs, who was just cut last night. Also, Gruden. So you would think, okay, Kansas City beats Green Bay, then they're going to go on this miraculous run. The Raiders have pretty good luck against Kansas City.
Yeah, they do. And, this kind of falls right in line with, the Raiders playing the Giants. I mean, if the Raiders lose to the Giants, how easy is it going to be to want to back Kansas City the very next week, who just beat the Giants? Yeah, I mean, I think that could be the perfect storm. Giants beat the Raiders this week. Kansas City beats the Packers, and everybody's back on KC, and maybe the Raiders can bounce back that following week. So for me in the NFL, the results week to week kind of shape my handicapping for the following week. So there are games that I would love to see Kansas City blow them out, not only because I'll be on them, but because it could potentially set up an opportunity, the following week if the Raiders were to lose at the Giants. So
now, before we wrap up, I want to talk about one more game. There's a lot of good games on this slate, but this one's really jumping out at me. The Tennessee Titans, they just lost Derrick Henry it looks like for the remainder of the year. They're traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. These are two very, very good football teams. And I do believe the Rams are going to have the edge of the public because, no Derrick Henry. Julio Jones, if he even plays, hasn't stepped up at all this season. Can Ryan Tannehill shoulder the load and really carry this offense? Obviously, Tennessee brings in Adrian Peterson, and they got Jeremy McNichols, but this running game, nobody's going to expect it to do anything. How do you see this Rams-Titans game playing out? Because I think Tennessee, they've already beaten, I know Derrick Henry was there, but they've beaten a good Colts team who was going into last week hot. They beat Buffalo. They beat Kansas City. These are all some of the top football teams in the NFL, and Tennessee has no issue with them. I think the Rams could be another one on the chopping block.
Yeah, I mean, and this is for me. This is a stay away game, and
Hmm.
you can definitely make the case for Tennessee. You've got again the fallen star. Maybe you get a very strong effort out of this Titans team. This is actually a game prior to the Derrick Henry news that I was looking to be all in on the Rams, and then they went out and got Von Miller. So, there's a lot of conflicting things that I look at. When I look at this game, like I said, prior to the Henry injury, I was all over the Rams, and then they went out and got Von Miller, and the Titans, are now in this spot to, try to get up for this game. And yeah, I mean, this is just a game that I'm going to have to pass on.
Hmm.
I would probably lean to the Titans, just based on the fallen star theory that I do like in sports betting, whether it be NBA, college football, any sport really. But just I mean, with being on the Rams initially, it's hard to make that switch. So I'm going to pass on this one. But yeah, I can definitely make a case. In this spot. So
Now, if you do like the Titans, anybody out there, the money line, you can get plus 317 odds over at the Circa Sportsbook. If you think the Titans can go out and pull off, I guess this would be another upset on the road. I don't exactly hate it. I know it's a game you should probably stay away from, but I kind of like, I don't know if that plus if they're 7.5-point underdogs. Like we talked about the Broncos Cowboys matchup, I think the Tennessee Titans are a better team than what the sports books are leading on. Ryan Tannehill's a very competent quarterback. I know the loss of Derrick Henry is massive, but Tannehill, it's not just him. Like they should have Julio back. They're gonna have A.J. Brown, who's been picking it up of late, and just A.J. Brown alone is a game changer. So I don't know. I think I would at least take the Tennessee Titans to cover.
Yeah, and this could be one of those games where it's a Rams blowout or Titans money line. But 7.5 is definitely hard to pass up. You're getting a very key number there, with the Titans. So, but yeah, I think that there's some value, on the money line as well. But just for me, it would have to be a total pass this week on that one.
All right, Randall, this was another great episode of the Sports Betting Edge podcast. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the head of customer success over at OddsJam. I help out with any questions that customers have regarding our product, and you can email me Randall at oddsjam.com if you got any questions about our product, or you can follow me on Twitter at Randall K Bets. We've been doing the parlay a day, where we're trying to hit a parlay and give away some cash to some people who retweet it. We did the NFL contest last week where we did $2.50 per retweet, and we put that on the Saints, and we ended up giving away $284 to one person. So stay tuned for that. May look to do that again this week with one of the games that I mentioned here earlier. My only regret on that last week was not taking the Saints on the money line. That individual could have had a much better payday. But a lot of exciting things going on at OddsJam, and continuing to grow and offer tools to make you a better sports bettor.
All right, guys, if you're listening right now live on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube or in podcast format, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the alert icon so you can be notified anytime OddsJam drops new content. If you like this video or heard anything you liked in this video, hit the like button, comment. All of these little engagements help us grow and reach more people, which is, what we want to do. We want to help everybody here at OddsJam become more profitable sports bettors over time. But until next time, good luck on your sports betting endeavors for the rest of the day, and we'll see you later.